Hi again, everybody. So this is another Zen in 10 movement break. So before you do this video, I would ask you to find 2 tennis balls. And then I put them in a sock. You can keep them together. There's lots of different ways that you can get these to stay in one piece. But this is an amazing massage tool that might cost you nothing if you happen to have tennis balls around. I don't know if I would use the ones they sell at PetSmart for your dogs because those are not as firm. But anyway, once you get these 2 tennis balls in your tube sock, you can do a lot of things to loosen up your upper back. And before we do that, I'm going to do a couple of quick movements first to really help loosen up the back before we do this. Okay, the first one is going to be on your hands and knees. Shoes are optional, of course. And the first one is you're going to put one hand behind your ear. You're going to come down and as far up as you can. The idea is that the more we do this, the closer your elbow will get to the ceiling. It probably won't get all the way to the ceiling, but we can try. Let's do about 10 repetitions of that on each side. I'm just going to do a couple more on this side. And then switch sides. Okay, let's go ahead and do the other side. And rotating just at the upper back. We're never trying to rotate at the lower spine, just the upper spine. But chances are, if you've been working at a desk, you probably have a lot of tightness in there. So we're going to see if we can get that loosened up. Let's do a couple more. All right. And then from here, before we get into our tennis balls, we're going to reach opposite arm and leg, bring that arm to the side, come down, and switch. Front, side, down, and switch. Front, side, down, and switch. Yes, front, side, down, and switch. Let's do a couple more of those on each side. Here. Nice big reach. Reach. And down. Reach. Reach. And come down. Very nice. All right, now let's bring your knees wide. And you're going to sit back on your feet and reach forward. This is kind of like a child's pose. What I want you to do is kind of crawl along the floor with your fingers. And that's really going to give you a nice pull on your upper back. Almost like you're trying to walk your fingers towards the wall or something. And you can sit back as much as little as you want to. And let's get one more stretch before we explore the tennis balls here. Bring one arm underneath. And grip the floor with your elbow. You should really feel that's kind of pulling on your shoulder blade. Hands should be relaxed. Just getting a nice pull across that upper back. Take some nice big breaths. And let's switch sides. Again, gripping with the elbow on the floor, pulling away. So you feel a nice big stretch on the side of your shoulder blade. Nice big breath. Okay. And come on up. And now let's take your tennis ball in the tube sock. And what you're going to do is lay down on it. You're trying to place it so that there's one ball on each side of your spine. Just in your upper back. Okay, I'm on a mat on the floor. A really hard surface is going to be a little bit trickier. just because it's going to give you a little bit more pressure, but you want to get those right around your spine. And then from there, just let your head relax over those. You should feel just a nice pressure point on either side of your spine. If you want to move the pressure point, you can lift up a little and kind of inchworm your way down. Find the spots that are tender for you and try to let your body just melt over the tennis balls. Let the elbows relax. Head should be on the floor. I've already got a couple spots in there. I don't know about you guys, but once you find a spot that you feel like you've got a knot or you've got some tension there, you can gently curl up on the balls and then relax back over them again. Curl gently up. This is not about your abs. This is called thoracic spine mobility. Gently curl up. Relax it back. Let's do a couple more of those. Relax it back. Oh, once you get going, it just feels really good. You can spend as much or as little time here as you want. And what we can do is, again, wiggle up or down if you want to get the next pressure point, just staying within your thoracic spine. So about the middle of your back up. We don't want to do this in the lower spine at all, just in the upper spine. And so again, we can do a little curl up and let yourself melt back over those. Little curl up and melt back down. Oh, I could spend all day doing that. But let's do a couple other things before we have to sign off for today. So again, you can take these, and the hip flexors are another place that gets really, really tight. So let's do a quick stretch on those. Bring one foot forward. If you need something to balance, you can grab something. If not, that's great. You want one leg behind you, squeezing that glute and reaching up. Again, if you need to balance with something, that's okay. Just kind of rock back and forth into that just a little bit. Squeezing the butt cheek of the leg that's back. Really tight hip flexors from sitting at a desk can tend to pull you forward and really cause a lot of low back issues. Okay, so we're going to address that here in a second with the tennis balls as well. Let's just stretch the other side a little bit. So again, just squeezing that glute as we lean forward and back. We're not trying to arch our back here, but just lean into it and squeeze. Okay, we can get some more intense stretches with that. You can always join in on my full body stretch classes that are Tuesday and Thursday at 12:05 on Zoom, where we kind of get really a little more into the hip flexors. But then we're going to take your tennis balls here and go right on top of the hip flexor. So right in front of your hip bone right here. And we're going to lay down on top of that. And with those double tennis balls, you're going to find some really tender spots, probably in the front of your thigh. On a nice firm surface, you can roll back and forth on those and get some good trigger points in there. If you're feeling brave, you could try this with lacrosse balls. I'm also going to do the whole front of my thigh with this. Okay, so you can just roll up and down on your thighs and on the side of your legs. And again, this is going to help to loosen up those hip flexors that get really tight when you're sitting at a desk all day. Best massage toy ever. Well, maybe not the best, but the least expensive anyway. And you can spend as much or as little time. If you find a spot that feels like you've got a little bit of a knot there, you can gently roll back and forth over that spot, or just hang out and kind of go side to side with it. Okay, a little bit of cross friction massage hopefully will help to release that. Okay, and then when you feel like you've done enough on that side, go to the other side. In the interest of time, I'm going to show you one more thing we can do with this. Actually, a lot of things we can do with this. But if your hip rotators are tight, You can take this and you can sit on it, lean on the side, and you can roll this right around the bone on the side of your hip and help loosen up those hip rotator muscles. Our hips get really stiff when we sit. So some great tips. You can spend as much or as little time as you have today getting your hips loosened up. Thank you so much for joining in. Join me next time for our next Zen in 10 movement break.